Hello, I'm Dave. I'm the new Bishop of Buckingham, and it's my first Easter as Bishop, so I wanted to send a message to all the people who worship in the Anglican churches in Bucks. Today is Maundy Thursday, which means it's exactly 7 weeks since I became your Bishop, and I want to start by saying a massive thank you to everyone who has shown me so much love and encouragement and support over these last 7 weeks, and indeed for the last months since November, when the news was announced that I was going to become the new Bishop. Whether you're one of those who faithfully joined me on Zoom to pray in the weeks leading up to that day in February when I became Bishop, or whether you're one of those people I've managed to meet so far over these first few weeks, or maybe you're someone who's been praying for me through this time, and maybe especially, as you might have heard, when I had my appendix removed a few weeks ago, from which I'm fully recovered. I want to thank you so much for your prayers. Myself and my family, we felt very supported and loved through this time, and I'm really, really grateful. As I approach Easter, I've been asking myself, what have I noticed in these early weeks as Bishop? I've noticed lots and lots of life, lots of new things happening, lots of encouragements, lots of lives being changed, lots of things that God is doing. And I want to encourage us this Easter to notice and to focus on what God is doing. Sometimes in our Christian life, it can be really tempting to focus on what God isn't doing, that we wish he was doing, and that can be quite discouraging. But when we discipline ourselves to focus on what God is doing, then we become much more encouraged. The disciples in that first Easter were very discouraged that Jesus wasn't becoming the kind of Messiah they wanted him to do. They were discouraged that God wasn't doing the things that they had hoped the Messiah would do. But on Easter Day, they learned to focus on what God is doing. And it was far greater and more wonderful than anything they could have imagined. So let's train ourselves this Easter, not to be discouraged by what isn't happening, but to focus on the new life that God is bringing. And I am seeing lots of it in these early weeks. The second thing I've noticed is lots and lots of challenges. Many of you are facing very difficult challenges, maybe challenges to do with people, not being able to find the right people to do the right jobs, maybe conflicts between people in church. I've also seen lots of challenges around finances, resources, not feeling that we have enough to do what we'd like to do. Or there are many challenges, of course, around issues facing us in the church and in the world that we struggle to find a way through. Again, the Easter story is a great inspiration. The disciples were pretty challenged by Good Friday. They were broken by it. It seemed like their world had totally fallen apart. And yet they went back to what they knew. They gathered together in an upper room and prayed, and the risen Christ appeared to them. Let's follow their example. And when we're faced with challenges, let's gather together. Let's pray. Let's return to what we know is true, that God is faithful to his promises. And he will come to us and surprise us. I've seen lots of life, lots of challenges, but I've also seen lots and lots of hope. Far more hope than challenge, in fact. And again, of course, here the Easter story helps us, because when those women went to the grave on that Easter morning, they discovered a hope that could never be destroyed. Jesus was not there, he was risen, and he went ahead of them. And he's going ahead of us too. The hope that we Christians have is a bit like a football in a swimming pool. You can hold it down if you try really hard for a long time, but eventually it will pop to the surface again. And that's the hope that will see us through all our challenges and will help us to see more and more life in our churches. So this Easter, I'm praying that we in the Buckingham Archdeaconry will be able to focus on the life that Jesus is bringing, that we will have faith in the midst of so many challenges, and that the fathomless hope of the resurrection will renew us in every way as we follow Jesus together. Happy Easter.